Hey YouTube, in this video I'm going to be doing my deck profile of my budget line Regalia Legion deck. So this one, just like the Witch deck that I did previously, this one contains the generic Legion that is basically nothing but it has a high power attack where it's hitting for over 30k on average. So yeah, I put it together with all the leftover Regalia support cards that I had. So let's get started here. So as usual, for Regalia of Love, Cypris, this is the generic Genesis Legion, and it's a Regalia, so it does mesh well with the new Regalia support. And then for the other grade 3s, you can run whatever budget line. Like there's a card that was reprinted, I think it was reprinted twice. I think it was in set 14 as well as the trial deck for Regalia. You can run that if you want, but I'm running the 2 Persephone, and I'm running 2 Regalia of Wisdom and Courage Brynhildr. So I did pull 2 of these. I wanted to build a deck that actually used them, so I threw them in. It's like a good game finisher. It's an ultimate break, so limit break 5, counterblast 4, soul blast 6. You get to retire up to 3 of your opponent's rear guards and then draw a card for each of them. And then Persephone, she's not a Regalia, so that's the reason why I didn't really want to run her too much. But she has a built-in Ragey effect when she's placed on V, so she helps fill up the soul that way. And then she does have her limit break effect. So, yeah, so this is the grade 3 lineup I went with. It's a little bit more diverse than my Shadow Witch budget line deck. But I think this one, it's pretty unique and it does pretty good. So for grade 2s, obviously we're running 4 of the Legion Mate Regalia Beauty Venus. This goes with Cypris. So the thing about this is the 10k vanilla for the 10k Legion. So that's how they hit their 20k attack. So excellent turn 2 ride. It's the ideal one that you want. Next, 4 Goddess of Trees Jupiter. Keeping in line with the fact that this is a very high power column, I wanted to try to apply as much pressure to the opponent as possible. So this is the 12k attacker for Regalia. It's been reprinted like I think 3 times. It was in the trial deck, it was in set 14 with Minerva, and it was also in the Waltz the Goddess. So 4 of this, and then the only other grade 2 I'm running is Regalia Fertility Freyja. This is, you don't have to run this if you don't want to. There's probably other choices out there. But the nice thing about this is it does help you get the soul charge. So ideally, what you want to do first is you want to go into the Legion first. Hopefully you have this out. You can use Counterblast 1, Soul Charge 3, and then she gains 5k, so she'll be attacking at 14 or 21 if you have a 7k behind it. So this is really high power that turn, this is really high power that turn. And then later on, you can just clean up with Brynhildr. You can just, if you're at limit break 5, you can go counterblast 4, because there's only used 1 counterblast, and then just go from there. So you should have the soul by then. So 3 of her, it works. For grade 1s, 2 Purification Regalia Pure Angel. This is another card. I'm not running too many of it because it does use counterblast, and I want to save the counterblast for Brynhildr. So 3 of this. It's kind of like the it's like one of those Dimension Robo cards. The only thing is it gains 5k, or actually the Regalia, the Vanguard Regalia gets 5k, and then if the attack hits, you can Soul Blast 3 to draw. So it's one of those like tech choices I went with. And then 4 Exorcism Regalia Shiny Angel. This is a pretty important card to put cards from the drop zone back into the soul for late game, so you can use either Persephone's effect, Soul Blast 6, or Brynhildr also Soul Blast 6. So that's why I'm running 4 of this. And then 4 Goddess of Union Yuno. So this is another card that got reprinted. This was originally in, I believe, the trial deck for Regalia, the one that came with Angelica. And then it got reprinted again in Waltz with the Goddess. And I'm actually glad I was finally able to build a deck that used this card, because all the other decks I've built before never utilized this. But it's just your generic 10k rush card, so it fits in real well with the overall strategy of rushing the opponent down. We're not really in a cross-ride meta anymore, so this with any 7k booster behind it's going to do just fine. And then 2 Cold Blast Regalia Sylvan. So this is my leftover 2 Quintet Walls that I had. It's Regalia card. And then 2 Kushinada, so 2 Perfect Guard. You can run 4 Perfect Guards if you want. This does actually make it more budget friendly though, because Perfect Guards tend to always be more expensive than Quintet Walls. So if you're on a budget, I mean, this works fine. Yes, she does use a Counterblast, so that does kind of hurt Brynhildr, but you know, normally you're gonna heal once, so you should still be able to do it. So this works. And then for the trigger lineup, typical with these type of decks, you're gonna run. I recommend running 12 critical and 4 heal. A lot of people like to run draw triggers. I can understand why. You can draw into Perfect Guards and things like that, but the thing is, when you're running such a very generic Legion, it doesn't have any kind of Persona Blast or any kind of special effect that requires discarding cards or anything like that. So 12 critical is the way to go, especially since it's a 10k body, so defending it is a lot easier with all these extra 10k shields, and like I've said in previous videos in the past, it makes the Quintet Wall a lot more effective at defending. So I definitely recommend the 12 critical. There's no special counterblasts, so it works fine. And the starter I went with, I chose Battle Maiden Amenohoakari. You could run the generic card that came out in set 11. The one basically counterblast one, put it into the soul. It's like a 5-card search for grade 3. You can run that one if you want, and that would be good because it can help you search these two, which you have less copies of. So you can run it if you want. The only reason why I went with this is, first, it's a 5k instead of 4k, so it helps with applying more pressure, especially with the Vanguard. And no, it's not that much of a difference. It also just stays on the field better, and it helps you get the soul charge if you're not able to utilize if you don't want to utilize this for the counterblast, and if you can't really use this early game, she helps you get the soul charge, so you can get that Soul Blast 6 off for these 2 cards, thanks to this helping out. So that's why I think this is just the better starter. So, but you can run the grade 3 searcher if you want. So that was basically the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you liked the video, please subscribe. Thanks.